Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's bird video. We're going to have a look at the weather. It's 10 to 14 days for today's bird video. Day 10 will take us to the 2nd of August, so we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the GFS and ECM ensembles. Maybe we'll traffic a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at the CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. Gets into the second half of August. I should get on that for you in a moment. Just to say about the first video release, it was our 6 AM UK weather forecast, and we've also released, if that wasn't enough by the way, the extended European outlook as well for the next 30/42 days. So check out those two vids if you'd like to do that. Like, share, subscribe on all our today's videos and content. Show to everybody for doing that for GavsWeatherVids. Thank you so much, everyone. Right, going to start off central temperature as always. CT is now sitting at 15.6, still sitting 15.6. That's 0.4 degrees below the 61 to 99 average, and it's provisional to yesterday, to the 22nd of July there. Nearly forgot what month we're in. Right, well, these are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. Look at London today. The red lines are 30-year upper air temperature average for London. We're starting off about average at the moment. You can see those upper air temperatures ticking up a little bit later this week. It's associated with an area of low pressure though, and then coming back down again at the end of the week. So a little bit up and down, a little bit zonal, but averaging it all out, probably about average with the upper and surface temperatures. Beyond that, through the end of July and the start of August, first week of August, well, there's still a possibility of a warm-up. You can see that the thick green line, which is the GFS midnight operational run, that does become quite warm through the first week of August. It is not necessarily an outlier, but it is one of the warmest ensemble members. It's not particularly convincing, this, I have to say. There's the possibility that we might warm things up. We may even get a heat wave. There's the possibility there. But it's not convincing within that ensemble graph, I have to say. Maybe a warm-up through the first week of August, but I think the chance of a heat wave is probably looking quite low. But we'll go through chart data in a moment. Precipitation-wise, going to be further showery bursts over the next few days with drier periods in between, and perhaps a more general sort of drier spell for the end of July, beginning of August, before things possibly start going a bit more unsettled again later on through the first week of August. That looks to be a possibility, but that's extended range, of course. Temperature anomalies from the 23rd to the 31st of July, just a little bit above average. Precipitation anomalies from the 23rd to the 31st of July, largely drier than normal. Latest wind map from earthnullschool.net shows that we've got a little transient ridge building to the west of the country today. And that's bringing the wind in from a fresher northwesterly direction. The next low is in the Atlantic, and that will be with us end of Wednesday and into Thursday, which takes us very nicely through to the chart data, because there's that area of low pressure there midnight Friday between Iceland and Scotland. Bring the westerly flow back in with further showery conditions. Through the weekend looks a little bit mixed to start off with, then higher pressure starts building up from the southwest by the end of the weekend. To start of next week, that brings something drier to the south and warmer too, but rather unsettled with showery bursts up in the north. That's a setup when we get to the end of the UK Met Euro run, midnight on Tuesday. High pressure in the south, that brings drier and warm weather into the south, but a little bit on the cool and showery side further north. This is how the Icon run is looking today. Again, rather flat westerly into the weekend with showery bursts on Saturday. Sunday probably turns drier with this ridge building up from the Azores high. However, Icon quickly flattens that off and brings low pressure back in. So early next week, so not a heat wave early next week, Icon actually looking rather cool and showery for the early part of next week. The KMA looking like that, flat and westerly to start the weekend, then high pressure from the Azores brings some drier and warmer weather into south, but north still staying a little bit mixed. Through next week, well, flat as pancake really. high pressure south, low pressure to the north. The zonal flow continues, and that takes us through to the beginning of August. Get to the 4th of August, we're still basically in a westerly Atlantic driven pattern. Right, what's happening with GFS midnight run? We know this becomes quite warm, so let's see how that happens. No pressure again, bringing westerly winds in on Friday, very lasting into the weekend as well. Maybe some sort of weather front as well down in the southeast that brings a more general area of rain into the south and southeast on Saturday. Sunday to Monday, well, slightly transient ridge in the south could bring something a bit drier there, but still quite unsettled up in the north. And then as we go further on through next week, again, high pressure tries to ridge up from the southwest, but doesn't really come to a great deal. That's a setup at day 10, low pressure around Iceland, high pressure from the Azores into France, Spain, Portugal, a flat westerly flow, rather mixed and showery. And then further on through the first week of August, well, high pressure increasingly builds up from the southwest, so it does turn drier and warmer, hotter even, into south and southeast by the 6th of August with plus 15 Celsius isotherm. It all looks rather flimsy, I have to say. It takes until about the 8th of August to find ourselves under a proper area of high pressure then, ridging in from the west and from the southwest. GFS 6 then, by comparison, again quite flat and westerly from Friday into the weekend. And then through the early part of next week, higher pressure is in the south, lower pressure is away to the north and west. And then high pressure strengthens through the middle part of next week, bring reasonably dry and warm weather, not a heat wave, but reasonably dry and warm weather into the south, north and west, looking a little bit more unsettled and showery. We get to day 10, and we've got a deeper area of low pressure starting to head in from the Atlantic. That low pressure sort of slips down over the top of the country. Now that's Saturday the 3rd of August, and it looks very unsettled and pretty cool as well, unfortunately, under that area of low. Oh dear. Well, beyond that, that low gets out of the way, and then we start getting some ridging coming back in from the Atlantic. It's just like a continuation of the zonal pattern, really, that we've had through the summer. If you enjoyed the video, please do like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much, everyone, for doing that. Drop a comment. Let's know what you think about this and all of our videos and content. Don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe to. We thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. GM, again, with low pressure between Scotland and Iceland on Friday, a westerly flow with showers and spells of rain into the weekend and the beginning of next week. It's drier and warmer in the south, southeast temporarily. Low pressure, though, is in the Atlantic, and this low comes sliding into country in the middle part of next week, keeping the unsettled, relatively coolish weather going for months end. No heat wave there, definitely. And by day 10, we've got some dry and warm weather back into south with this little ridge, but still low pressure is away to the north and west of Scotland. And then finally, the ECM looks like that. So we've got low pressure between Scotland and Iceland again on Friday into the weekend. Starts unsettled, then a little ridge builds up from the southwest. Sunday, Monday should be mostly dry and warm in the south, a little bit more unsettled though to the north and the west. And then Tuesday and Wednesday goes flat and westerly. The showers long spells rain in the north, a little bit drier though down in the south. By day 10, again, we're trying to build up a ridge from the southwest, trying to build up the Azores high, but this low in the Atlantic to the south of Iceland looks as though it's coming south into the country, really. A mixed outlook continues into early August there with the ECM. Remember, yesterday the ECM was bringing up plus 20 Celsius iceberg, but it's not doing that today. Let's put it that way. So there's the upper air temperatures. They're pretty warm at day 10, but nowhere near as hot as yesterday's ECM. Right, this precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from tometeo.com. No showers, particularly in the north and west, over the next day or two. And then we get through to the weekend with further showery bursts coming and going. And that carries on into next week as well. Most of the rain to the northwest, quite a bit of dry weather in the south and the east. Other models are more unsettled than that. For the middle of next week has to be said. And that's a setup at day 10 with wet weather back into the far northwest of the country. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10 from ECM.inc themselves, not the Icelandic Met Office. That website is currently down at the moment as I'm recording the video. So this gets us to the 2nd of August. I've got 15 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south, and we bring in that flat westerly flow. We have also got 9 members of the ECM ensembles here with low pressure again around Iceland, high pressure a bit stronger to the southwest, again bringing in that westerly flow. That's drier for the south, a little bit unsettled in the north. We've got 8 members of the ECM ensemble just here, with low pressure around Iceland, Greenland, high pressure towards Scandinavia. So a bit of a battle going on with that option, but probably rather on the mixed side. And then we've got 7 members of the ECM ensembles with slightly stronger high pressure through the north and west of Europe. That should bring mostly dry and quite warm weather. And then we've also got 6 members of the ECM ensembles here with high pressure just out to the west. So that could be dry, but perhaps a bit on the cool side with the northwesterly flow. And then finally, we've got another 6 members of the ECM ensembles at day 10. Low pressure in the Atlantic into the north of Scotland. So that could be probably the most unsettled option, with showery conditions coming in from the west. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. Gets us to the 7th of August. Whoops, my light went wonky. 21 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure through the north and west of Europe. 17 members of the ECM ensembles with a ridge of high pressure through the Atlantic into northern and western Europe. And then we've got 13 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to the east, high pressure ridging to the southwest, and more low pressure towards Greenland. All looks rather westerly and, rather unsettled and mixed there, I have to say. So a range of options at both day 10 and day 14 tells us there is quite a bit of uncertainty as we're looking ahead to the first week of August, but there's no real sign of a genuine sort of hot spell or heat wave to come there. And then finally, CFS V2, it's a 500 millibar high times, breaking down into week periods. The first week period takes from the 23rd to the 29th of July. But next week, we'll have low pressure to the north, high pressure will be to the south, and winds will be still coming in from a westerly direction. Most unsettled in the north, drier, not necessarily completely dry, in the south week 2, be the 30th of July to 5th of August. Low pressure going around Greenland, Iceland, high pressure to the southwest, winds again coming in from a westerly direction. Week 3 will be the 6th to the 12th of August. That's a little bit more ridging to the south there. That could bring something a bit dry and warmer into the south, but still low pressure around Iceland, and still fundamentally like a westerly type flow. And then lastly, week 4 will be the 13th to the 19th of August. All much of a muchness, low pressure to the north, high pressure to the southwest, and on. This sort of westerly zonal flow continues. And by that point, we're into the second half of August and running down the clock on meteorological summer 2024. Goodness gracious, autumn is coming. Anyway, we're done. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much for doing that. Drop a comment, let us know what you think about this and all of our videos and content. Don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe to me. Thanks so much, everybody, for doing that. So just tell us having on the channel tomorrow. We're going to have the 6 AM UK weather forecast, and there'll be a 10 to 14 day. Keep checking back to the channel for more. But for this one, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and bye for now.